everybody, this is Joyous here, bringing you with a brand new video, and today we're going to be discussing the third place TCG Elementsaber deck. I don't exactly remember where this came from, or when it was, but it is a pretty interesting deck, and he got top 8, he got third place against the all odds, because the top 8 at this regionals was True Draco, first place, second place True Dracos, third place is what we're reviewing today. Spirals, which I probably will go over if we get the deck list for it. 5th and 6th is Pendulum FTK, 7th is Mekk-Knight Invoked, and the 8th place was Pendulum Edition. So very tough competition for the Elementsaber, considering the fact that everyone was actually pretty much ragging on this deck and saying that it wasn't very good. I was kind of in this little space. I wasn't expecting it to do too well, but you know, I like being surprised with how things go out, and I think this is a very interesting and a very intricate list. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. So the first card we got here is Phosforage, Moulinglacia, and one Mare Mare. I believe Mare Mare is kind of in here for the token synergy that it produces, not so much for the fact that it's a tuner, because it's level 7 and you can't exactly make any tuners with this, so you're kind of just making this for the token synergy that this card generates by itself. It's pretty good. You could reduce this card's level by 1 and then special summon a Mare Mare token from it. You can only use it thrice per turn, so you can lower this card's level by 3, summon 3 tokens, and then you can go into your shenanigans with it. It's actually pretty insane. I actually like this card a lot. Because the name kind of just kills me. But it's a really cool card. You can actually, reading this card now, you can actually use this for the synchro ability if you need it to do that. But I don't really see that being too relevant as far as link summoning goes. I think that's more important. And you obviously run the Moulinglacia and the Phosforage for obvious reasons. Phosforage is a Raigeki, so that's really good. That's pretty good. And Moulinglacia just takes cards out of your opponent's hand, which is really good, especially if you can manage to do this turn 1. Your opponent would be starting off with just 4 cards, which is really nice because it gives you a considerable advantage ahead of him. So. To Destrudo. Destrudo is interesting simply because it's a tuner, and I guess it's more flexible in this deck specifically because it allows you to manipulate the levels more so than Mare Mare can, and it allows you to make your level 7 synchros a lot easier. Plus, it's just a fantastic card overall. So obviously, this card's going to be really good in anything that you probably put him in. We have 3 Willard, which in this is I call him Willard. It's a big mana, so 3 Molehu, 3 Lapa, 3 Malo, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Makani, 3 Aina. These cards are really good. He's not running the water one, which I think is kind of interesting, because the water one, though to be fair, I don't think the water one is that important. The dark one is really insane. If you guys don't know what this card does, it's kind of like Fairy Tale Snow, minus the recursion that it has. So it's a Book of Moon effect that's a quick effect, so you can easily just do it whenever you want to. But the difference is that this card is, when it's on the field, you just send an Elementsaber from your hand to the graveyard, and that's actually kind of insane. Plus, this guy has 1900 attack, so that's fantastic. Lapu is kind of pretty good. It's whenever a spell when a spell and trap card is activated, you can basically you get a blanket negation for it. You have to send 1 Elementsaber monster from your hand to the graveyard, then negate it. It's really good. He's really fantastic, though his stat line is not as good as Molly or as the Dark Dude, but that's neither here nor there. Malo is just basically a Foolish Burial, I think. You can send 1 Elemental Saber monster from your hand to the graveyard, and send 1 Elemental Lord from your deck to the graveyard. So yeah, he's just Foolish Burial. So he's pretty good. Foolish Burials tend to be pretty good in the deck. So I guess having 2 is pretty good. Don't need to explain Ash Blossoms. Ash Blossoms are here for obvious reasons. Makani This one is the Stratos of the deck. I think, yeah, it's the Stratos of the deck. Once per turn, you can send one Elemental Saber from your hand to the graveyard, then add one Elemental Saber or Elemental Lord from your deck to your hand. This gives your Elemental Lords synergy to search, and which is really, really good, because having just something that is, hey, I can easily just go and win the game from here. Summon Makani, discard an Elemental Saber, search out the thing of choice. It makes all of them playable, except Windrose. Windrose is pretty god-awful, and when we get Grand Soul back, the card's going to be even more insane, especially with Makani, since it's going to be searchable. And Aina is pretty good herself as well. Once per turn, you can send one Elemental Saber from your hand to the graveyard, then target one Elemental Saber monster except this card or Elemental Lord that has been properly summoned in the graveyard, and special summon it, ignoring its summon conditions. So I guess this is a way to get around this card. I guess it ignores the summoning conditions, but it has to be summoned properly if it's an Elemental Lord. So you can't just be like, oh hey, I'm going to cheat on an Elemental Lord for free. That's not how it works, unfortunately. So. So yeah, on to the spell lineup. Overall, the monster lineup, though, is very, very strong. So yeah, 3 Pot of Desires, 3 Terraforming, 3 Temple of the Elemental Lords, 3 Dragon Ravine. The 3 Dragon Ravine is strictly here to send, obviously, Destrudo to the graveyard, so there's not really much to say about that. The Temple of the Elemental Lords is the most important card in the entire deck. You add one Elemental Lord, Elemental Saber, but you skip your battle phase, and if an Elemental Saber monster in your hand or field would send a card to the graveyard from your hand to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. You can send as many Elemental Sabers monsters from your deck to your graveyard instead. So basically, just mass thins out your deck. It's super important for the deck. It synergizes really well with your synergy, and like I said, it's one of the main reasons why it makes the turn 1 Elemental Lord play so strong, and it's just super good. Though if you get like MST'd, or if you get like Cosmic Cycloned, or if you get Twin Twistered, or you get Ghost Ogred, it sucks. It sucks hard, because that means you're out of the field spell, and the field spell is super important in this deck. But he managed to make it despite that, so I'm really, really excited for that. And Elemental Training. This is a continuous thing. It's you have to your opponent cannot target a palace with Elemental Lords you control with card effects. That's pretty good. Also, it cannot be destroyed by battle or just destroyed by card effects. Once per turn, you contribute one monster, especially one Elemental Saber monster from your deck with a different name or different original attribute than the monsters. You can send this face-up card to the graveyard, discard your entire hand, and add an Elemental Lord from your graveyard to your hand equal to the number of cards that you discarded. You only have 2. I think that the last effect is not terribly relevant, but the first 2 effects are actually really good. The protection of your field spell is really good, because that means they have to destroy this card first before they can even bother targeting your palace. So that's pretty good. On top of that, this card allows you to special summon an Elemental Saber from your deck with a different attribute, which is incredibly insane. Next, we're going to talk about the extra deck. He's playing 1 Yazi, 1 Black Rose Dragon, 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon, 1 Fa Dawn Dragster, 1 Utopia the Lightning, 1 Utopia, 1 Borreload Dragon, 1 Saryuja, 1 Trisbania, 1 Decode Talker, 2 Isolde, 1 Proxy Dragon, and 2 Link Spider. He's not running Link Kuriboh, probably because it's not as good as Link Spider in certain situations. I guess it's fine. He's running the standard, though. You can use Mare Mare to get your Saryuja out pretty easily, because you have 4 cards here, and it makes a lot of sense. All you got to do is just keep the Mare Mare alive, and it does practically the same thing. Isolde searches out things, but you can't play it, which is fine. Trisbane is just pretty good. The Utopia package has always been fantastic. The only thing that this is bad against is True Draco, when they make a masterpiece that's not when they find out that you're playing Elemental Sabers, and This deck has no actual spot removal as far as spells are concerned, so he could just make it immune to traps and traps and monsters, and your opponent can't run it over with Utopia the Lightning, because that effect will just be blanketed over your Masterpiece. It doesn't activate, so Utopia the Lightning can't negate it. So, but that being said, it's good against every other matchup though. It's fantastic against every other matchup. So, FA Dawn Dragster is actually one of the best cards in Flames of Destruction. Flames of Destruction is actually just kind of an insane set. It's actually very comparable to like Sorcery Blast in a way, but I'll talk about that later if you guys want me to. Interfere Dragon, because you're running Destrudo, that's obvious. It searches out your field spells. It makes it's a pretty good card overall. It special summons. If you open this card turn 1, you get free summons with this card, so it's pretty good. Black Rose Dragon, always good to have that board wipe. And Yazi for just straight up good spot removal. I wouldn't really complain about that. It's a pretty good card. So yeah. Onto the side deck, he was running 3 Ghost Ogre, 1 Raigeki, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Infinite Impermanence, 3 Evenly Meshed, and 3 Solemn Strike. I assume the Solemn Strike was for the Pendulum matchup, and I guess for the Pendulum FTK matchup. Evenly Meshed is always going to be for the True Draco matchup. It's good against everything, though, to be perfectly honest with you. Infinite Pertinence is really stupid good. I honestly think that this card probably it warrants the price tag. It's definitely better than Effect Veiler. Though Effect Veiler is good in certain situations, but this card kind of just outclasses it all the time. Cosmic Cyclone is good against a lot of matchups as well. It's also good against the Mirror, because if they open up the temple and you don't, you just blow away their temple, and they're pretty sad. Against your Dracos, you just get rid of their diagrams, and if you're playing against Pendulum Magicians, you get rid of the key card in their that they need to complete this, and they're pretty much hurting for that as well. The 1 Mekk-Knight, because the board wipes are always pretty good still, and 3 Ghost Trooper for the True Draco matchup, I assume. And I guess in certain situations, it's also really good against the Elemental Saber matchup as well, because it stops Mare Mare. It also stops Moulinglacia and the Elemental Lords. So it also stops things like Makani and the rest of the Elemental Sabers from the Book of Moon effects and stuff. I think the sending for this card is a cost, so it doesn't do that much against it in that regard, but it is what it is. So overall, this deck is really cool. I've always liked the idea of Elemental Sabers, but I never was really sure if it would pan out too much. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy this list, please let me know in the comment section down below. I will see you guys in the next video. This has been Chitone Alliance, signing out.